Rukus Avenue Radio.
Hello, I'm Vikram Mehra, and you're listening to Rukus Avenue Radio.
Namaste and hello, Rukus Avenue radio listeners. This is your correspondent, Priyadarshini G. Roy, live from the Dash Radio studio on Hollywood Boulevard with a very, very special guest, Mr. Vikram Mehra, all the way from India.
Yes, straight from Mumbai.
Kaisa ka hai Mumbai, right? So thank you so much for joining us all the way from our homeland. And how does it feel to be in Los Angeles, let alone on Hollywood Boulevard?
It feels great, except the fact right now it's raining in LA in March, which I would have never imagined. Right. Funnily, it's raining in Bombay at this time, and it's raining here too, so it
Maybe
feels at
you
home.
brought the rain here. Maybe it was you.
It was my homesickness with ensure the rains come along with me.
So thank you so much for joining us, and we're looking forward to a wonderful interview. So without any further ado, listeners, I'm going to go right into Vikram's bio. So Vikram joined Saregama India as managing director in October of 2014. He is also the current chairman of the Indian music industry, the apex body representing music companies in India. Vikram did BE in computer science and technology from IIT Roorkee and postgraduate in management from IIM Lucknow. As a TS officer, he has successfully stints at several Tata Group organizations, including Tata Motors and TCS. Prior to joining Saregama, he worked as Chief Commercial Officer and Chief Marketing Officer at Tata Sky for 10 years. He has also worked at Star as Vice President for 4 years, spearheading Star's foray into DTH and cable services. Vikram, what a wonderful, wonderful repertoire.
Sometimes I wonder whether I've done enough in my life or not.
I feel like as Desis, we always, I think it's a parental influence where you can come with all these degrees and all this experience and, Mom, I got a 98. Bas. That's it.
The other part right now, which I find very fascinating, that while I was doing my IIT Roorkee, I never imagined in the end, finally, what I'm going to be doing right now is in the world of entertainment and trying to make people laugh, trying to make people cry. But as I tell my kids, I think education always comes useful. Whatever you do in life, your background helps.
Absolutely. I can attest to that. I'm getting my PhD in my final streak, so I can definitely say it's a lot of hard work, but definitely the applied and transferable skills, whether it comes from your IIT experience, you apply those disciplinary kind of actions into your present profession right now.
You do.
So tell us more about your journey from your transition from IIT Roorkee to all of these other degrees. What led you to music?
I'm a computer science engineer from IIT Roorkee, and like any traditional Indian middle class family, your parents tell you right now that if you're really good, you become an IAS. If you're not that great, then you join an IIT. And here I was in the best possible branch that could have been taken, because within IITs also, it was perceived at that time, computer science is the hottest thing. After that, I got a day zero campus placement in TCS, and within a couple of years, I knew this is not my cup of tea. I hated it. I was okay at work, but I hated that part. I think TCS is a great organization, but coding was not my cup of tea. The best thing I did was to jump and did my MBA after that. And in India, typically people do MBA straight out of their engineering colleges.
Yes.
I had a 2-year work stint. In MBA, the story repeated. There, it was in management, it's assumed that if you're a topper, that you will take the finance area. Yeah. And marketing and advertising is for people who are at the backbenches of the class. And I thought that's a way for me. I did well in my MBA, so I was very clear. I majored in finance.
Okay.
And as I was getting out of the campus, I had offers from all the banks. And suddenly from nowhere, Tata Administrative Services came. This is the core cadre within the Tata Group, which allows you to move across various Tata Group companies. At any time, there are 100 of these people only across the entire Tata Group. So joined that, did my initial projects in finance because I thought finance is the way of life, and realized I hate that too.
A lot of trial and error.
Computer science gone, finance gone.
What's next?
And I ended up doing a stint in marketing, and I realized really this is my calling.
Wow.
And I joined Tata Motors. In fact, I was a product head for the first Indian car that was launched called Tata Indica. This is way back. You must have been really small or not even born for all you know. And it was a great experience. Okay. But at that time, I realized I like marketing, I like media, and jumped over to Star. Then got into DTH business, which was a great journey. See, the fun, and I'm envious of someone like you, the power you have to make an impact on somebody's day-to-day life is amazing.
It's huge.
See, a lot of people make trucks, people make satellites. Yeah. They don't impact somebody's day-to-day life to that extent as we entertainment business people do. somebody watching us, listening to us, actually cries or actually smiles. I think that's a great thing. At the end of the day, you feel your life has made some difference somewhere. And that's what keeps me going. So earlier I was in the business of video at Tata Sky, and then I decided enough, let me now create content rather than selling somebody else's content. Joined Saregama and moved Saregama from just being a music company. Now we are one of the leading films company. We make films, we make TV series, we make web series, we make physical products like Carva, and yes, we also create music.
That's wonderful. And I really attest a couple of the points that you mentioned. First, how marketing spoke to you. So I feel like regardless of what field you go into, when you spoke about satellites or trucks, marketing, especially now in the day of social media marketing is prevalent in every single industry that you touch because you're telling a story. Now, specifically when you talk about music and Saregama and how it has transitioned from not just an audible version, but to a product base where you have the Carva, different iterations of it, whether it's the religious versions or the golden era songs or even...
You really know about Carva. I'm so impressed.
I come from a music background. I'm a singer myself, so I am very attuned with how the music industry is. And it's a passion of mine. So if you really love something, you keep up to date with it for your own knowledge, right? And so now coming to how music, you said, changes people's lives based on the emotional effect that it has. You said specifically about entertainment in general because we're storytellers, right? Whether some people choose to do it through video, through dance, through music, in your example. I feel like music can take that person away from their current mood and change it to a different mood depending on what song they put on. And it kind of helps your emotions have words to them. So what about music specifically kind of changed you from marketing into music, other than, the companies that you joined, but what about music kind of just resonates?
Music always meant a lot to me. As you said, music is also a reflection of the mood that you are in or the mood you want to go into. Here I am sitting in this amazing place with raining outside and I'm thinking of various songs of Kishore Kumar, right?
Yes.
And Rim Jim Gire Savan, which is a song of ours only, right? Or a Namak Halal song of which was picturized in Mr. Bachchan and Smita Patil. And suddenly it's making me feel happier.
Yeah.
Because music has another part, something I very strongly believe in. Music has memories attached to it. Absolutely. That's why music is the best nostalgia dose you can give to anyone. Yeah. Music which is connected to good or the bad memories of your life, they always come back when you listen to the same song. Our Carva actually is based on the same philosophy that the people who are there in 40s and 50s, they want to go at times, get themselves transported back to the days when they were in 18 and 20-year-olds. Life was carefree, no responsibility, they were in great time. The fastest way to do it is to listen to the songs that you heard when you were 18, 19-year-old. माँ के हाथ का खाना और बचपन में सुने हुए गाने, they are the best way. कभी नहीं भूल सकते. They get you back into that mood anytime.
Absolutely. No, I think where the marketing strategy plays into Carva specifically is because that target audience of that generation is not attuned to the digital music scenario. They're not going to YouTube to play those playlists and songs, or maybe they're not as apt with technology. But when they have that physical product of that music, they can take it anywhere that they go. And that's why they feel attachment towards it.
People often ask me right now that what a great innovation. Carva is actually the first product innovation coming out of India. Right? India is not known for product innovations. We are known for services innovation or tech innovations. Carva is actually not about technology. Carva is about anthropology. Carva is about understanding your customer a little better. And our customer said that they wanted a no-frills kind of a box, which if they turn it on like the cassette player or the vinyl player used to be earlier, and the music keeps on playing on its own without any algorithm deciding that which song needs to be played next or an ad coming in between.
Right.
The other part, I'll tell you a very interesting story. With the earlier Carva, the first design we people had touch buttons. Right? And because all the engineers in my company, they were all saying, the young kids, they were all saying, listen, touch button is a way of life. Everybody was used to their iPhones. We came out with touch buttons and the research had got rejected big time because that generation said they need a tactile feel. They want to feel the fact that a button has been pushed or not. And we said, okay, strategy is not just about what to do, also about what not to do. We said we are not going to talk to 25-year-olds through Carva.
Right.
We are going to be talking to 35 plus generation and give them things that matters to them. Second, all of us who have grown, my generation, not yours, or grown to listening to Prasar Bharati and listening to programs like Hawa Mahal and
All India
Radio. All India Radio. One of the most amazing things there used to be, you could never know which song is going to come next. And the same serendipity we have put right now in Carva. Nobody knows which song is going to be played next if you're listening to Kishore or Asha or Lata.
It's a true jukebox.
It's a true jukebox, which is genuinely a randomizer is built into it, which takes the time of the day and the unique serial number of the box and decides which song should be played next. The two caravans playing at the same time are going to play two different songs. And people just love this phenomena.
It's always a surprise package. They don't know what they're going to get other than the fact that it's a feel-good feeling from yesteryears, which they long for.
And it's not dependent on power. You don't have to data connectivity. If a call comes to your mobile phone, your Bluetooth connection is not going to break. So you can go and take your call. So there are a lot of conveniences which are attached to that product. That doesn't mean that the younger generation is wrong. I think younger generation is right in their own mind. But the older generation also needs to be serviced.
Absolutely. And I feel like as we progress, we cannot forget those that have brought us up and we have to take them along in that journey.
Yes.
And that is the definition of Carva, which is also a journey.
And what I realized right now, when I started Carva, I thought I'm taking other people along with me in the journey, and I'm realizing I'm part of the journey. I'm falling in that age group where technology is the problem and I like convenient products.
Okay. But I also resonated with the fact that you said that the older generation likes to touch and feel the buttons.
Yes, it does.
I grew up in a time where if the cassette player wasn't working, you took a pencil and you went into the holes and you re-reeled all of the actual tape, which
I have
contained the
fixed
music.
tapes. I remember the magnetic tapes used to break and I used to get actual tapes right now to put it back because it used to come from hard-earned pocket money. There's no way one was replacing a cassette tape.
Right. Now, you also mentioned how music kind of reinvigorates the yesteryears and the emotion that you had, say, from your first date or the first day you went to the job or, you know, your first big workout before your big performance, all of these different categories and genres. Now, how is the music industry changing where we're seeing a lot of remixes to reinvigorate those, you know, now it's the 90s, everything from Dip Dip Barsa Pani to like all the 90s songs are being remixed or, you know, reimagined in different forms with different beats, different more modern techniques. How do you feel about that?
You know, remix for the heck of remix is never going to go back and work. If you are able to go back and produce good quality music, which is a derivative of the older song, then it typically works. We have songs in the recent times sung by this guy called Sanam Puri. There's a band called Sanam.
Yes.
Sanam has sung practically all our songs. Some of the biggest hits of Lata Didi or Kishore Da or Rafi Saab sung by him. He does justice to those songs. At times, his versions have become bigger than the original ones too.
Versions.
But there are equal bunch of cases, some of the other competitors of ours who have put a remix songs for the sake of remixing. Just adding beats to a song does not make it a remix song. Because remember, there's a nostalgia attached to that song. You mess around with it, people are going to hit you hard. So we have a very, very selective process. Not that we have not gone wrong in the past. We have gone wrong. But now we are very careful about what we people do with the remix of a song. At the same time, we're investing very, very heavily in new music.
Okay.
Which is original music. Yes. And as you know, in India, we still follow the film music more than artist-led music. Pop music. We are buying Karan Johar's next directorial movie is called Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani. The music is with us.
With Alia Bhatt and I think
Alia and
Ranveer Singh.
Yeah, it's a movie is sitting in the month of July. Some great music, which is trademark of Karan Johar. Sanjay Leela Bhansali's Gangubai was ours. We have Boni Kapoor's next movie coming in, which is an Ajay Devgan movie called Maidan. We have picked up the music of that. There's a Vicky Kaushal Sara movie called Zara Hatke Zara Bachke. The music is with us. There's another of Karan movie coming out, which is again a Vicky movie, and with Amy work, we have picked up that music. We're also picking up a lot of music in Telugu, Tamil, and Malayalam. So from Prithviraj in Malayalam, I don't know how much you follow that
South.
Mm-hmm. Prithvi is very, very big. Mohanlal, Mammootty's movies, we are picking up. There's an album recently in Malayalam which is super hit called Romanjam. The music is with us. Telugu at this moment, the biggest album moving is a film album called Dasera. The music is with us. We had picked up Mahesh Babu's film before this. We're picking up a lot of Surya projects in Tamil. We're also investing heavy in Bhojpuri and Gujarati, which is non-film music. So there are big artists there in these languages whom we people have signed. And we're investing there too. And Punjabi, you can't be in India and not invest on the Punjabi side. So yes, a lot of new content is now being created so that the company remains relevant 50 years down the line too. And there's something I can offer to a new generation that wants to maybe listen to original music.
I agree. And I feel like when you talked about India is more attuned to Bollywood music because that is the most heavily marketed and infiltrated into the industry. But I feel like there's also a resurgence of popular music coming, like you mentioned, Sanam Puri. He's done Bollywood tracks, but he is more famous for his YouTube covers. I wouldn't even call them remixes at this point because he has his band and they do the original scores and they kind of sit down and look at melodies. They look at music as the art form and not as something that is just trendy.
So trendy and not as something where you can make money in a shorthand basis, right? He does justice and hence his songs have got a much longer shelf life connected to it. While we're talking about it, I'll tell you another very interesting thing we people have started is we are now inviting Indians living in India or say America or Canada now do their own cover versions or remixes of the entire Saregama catalog and send it across to us.
Okay.
All the stuff that's coming to us, no questions asked, we are putting it up on our YouTube channel. And whichever artist's content starts becoming more popular, we then handpick that artist and say, why don't you do original music for us?
That's wonderful. It goes back to the original talent hunts that
it's
so
talent
familiar
hunt
with.
in the most raw fashion of talent hunt. There are no judges coming in between. Anybody can apply. And we are already getting hundreds of thousands of entries on a regular basis now coming across. People just need to mail their video to us and they can pick up. And Saregama is the largest catalog of music. From Jagjit Singh to Chamkila to Rafi Saab, you name it, to Hemant Kumar in Bengali and Hindi, we have it all. So we are encouraging people to send it and which allowing us to discover new and newer talent.
That's wonderful. You reminded me of my audition days. So I was on American Idol, The X Factor, The Voice for my music career, and also Saregama, the North American edition. So we did the same process. Back in the day, we would, upload a cover, a cappella, no music, no, auto-tune, none of these things you can find on social media today, and just raw voice. And if you are able to do so, and it's a very popular format for a lot of singing competitions.
Right.
But now I feel like a lot of that has been diluted into what is trendy, and that soul is gone missing from a lot of the reality shows where they're picking up new talent and then you never hear from them ever again, other than just say live stage shows. And I think every singer at heart wants to go into the studio to not only sing covers, but their own originals.
Original. See, the big difference is, unlike a format show, where what can they promise you? At the end of the day, they can promise you a big name and a fat check.
Yeah.
As a music label, I can promise you a contract to go out and release your own album.
Yes.
So that's the ultimate high for anybody who wants to come into the profession of singing or composing or writing.
Right.
That can they release their own album by the biggest label of India. And that's what we are putting on the table.
That's wonderful. We'll put all those details right in the description box. So any of our listeners who'd like to submit, please do, and we'll include everything in there.
All languages, so that's a beauty.
There is a language that I'm very close to, which I did not hear. So what are you doing with Bengali music? I'm a Bengali myself.
I know.
That's why I asked.
Right.
Okay.
No, so Bengali is, anyway, HMV, the old version of my company, was a Calcutta-based company. Even now, we have this huge factory of ours, which is next to the airport. And you have to go there to feel nostalgia because some of the biggest names of India have actually recorded there. And we have maintained that studio as pristine as it used to be 70 years ago. We are investing in Bengali heavy.
Okay.
Bengali music is also the toughest music to manage because
the audience.
because the audience is a very fussy audience, and
we're very particular about our music.
That's a part. You're very particular, and these short-term trends cannot just don't work there.
Them. We just think it's it's nothing new, it's nothing innovative, and there's nothing intellectual about that content.
That's
creation.
the problem. There is a lot of intellectual debate that starts happening when it comes to Bengali. It's relatively easier in Punjabi, Haryanvi, Bhojpuri, right? So, but listen, some of the greatest music that has come out here, some of the greatest composers that have come out here, lyricists that have come out here, have all come out from the state of Bengal.
Absolutely.
So,
our national anthem was written by a Bengali, Rabindranath Tagore. So absolutely, Bengal
absolutely.
runs in the blood of
India.
music, of India. No, it's wonderful to touch base about all these different things. Now, tell us when it comes to popular music, like you mentioned, we talked about Sanam Puri, but even growing up, I remember when there was in the 90s, we listened to Bollywood music, but we also listened to Adnan Sami's Bhigi Bhigi Raaton Mein, and then Sanam does those covers, and that becomes a smashing hit. So what advice would you give to artists who are maybe submitting, or what kind of niche genres are they looking for, or should they just do what's trendy, like, hey, right now R&B is trending, or let's do more of these instrument-based songs? What advice would you give to artists? So the one is
the good news that the share of Bollywood music is coming down and artist-led music is going up, which is a great trend. right? It's still Bollywood dominated, but now it's possible for somebody to stand out. Badshah is a very good example. Diljit Dosanjh is a very good example. These guys don't sing for movies that much. They release more and more of their independent songs, and they do very, very well. I often quote the example of Badshah did a song for us called Pani Pani. Now that song, between the YouTube numbers on our own channel, on third-party channels, and the audio streams, has crossed a number of some 2.5 billion.
Yeah.
Right? So it shows that if there's good quality stuff which is coming out, audience is going to go out there and lap it up. All I tell people, the younger people who are coming out with their music is actually don't try to ride on trends, because it's easier for the bigger artists to ride on trends. You need to stand out.
Yeah.
And somewhere, this is my personal belief, right? Somewhere in India, I'm realizing there's a greater focus coming on composition than lyrics. One of the strength of the golden days of Indian music used to be the quality of lyrics that used to come. They used to tell
People
you
like
a story.
Gulzar Sahab.
Gulzar Sahab, Javed Sahab, Shailendra used to write out there, Anand Bakshi Sahab, they were dons
Legends.
there. And the song used to say something to me.
Yes.
Somewhere we are realizing, and labels like Saregama are also to be blamed for it, that we give more importance these days to composition and singer. Somewhere the importance that needs to be given to the writer is coming down, and I think all of us need to change.
I think we see that also in a lot of films that we were saying today. And you mentioned even South cinema and music. That's why Not Do won Best Song at the Oscars, because it's an original.
Yep.
The story is original.
Yeah.
The lyrics are original. I think that's what we're moving towards, like saying that, hey, this doesn't work. It doesn't work in the long run because it doesn't resonate.
RR is a very great example. Suddenly the director and the story became bigger. It's not like Ramchandran and NTR Jr. They are massive.
They're huge.
And I'm huge fans of both of them. But the movie was bigger than just the stars. It
was larger than life.
The director was even bigger than any of the two stars. And that's what happens. You need to give enough credit to people who are behind the camera or behind the microphones, right? Not just in front of it.
Absolutely.
And then you get great quality stuff. So any of the kids who's thinking of
writing, composing,
composing, breaking out, they need to tell a real story, a story that comes from their heart.
Right.
And there's a higher chance that they may become the next Arijit Singh or Diljit Dosanjh or Badshah of India.
My caveat to that is, Badshah, Diljit, Arijit started from Fame Gurukul in 2007, 4. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember the exact year. But he was underground working behind the scenes with Pritam Da for a decade or so. Same thing with Diljit, same thing with Badshah. They gave in 10, 15, 12 years, made it big in the North Indian circuit, and then became a household name when Bollywood picked them up.
There is no shortcut.
Yes.
That's the unfortunate part. The only shortcuts you can get is if you're connected to someone, you may get a break. But getting a break is actually not a guarantee you're ever going to be successful.
Never. There's no formula for that.
There is no formula for it. For all the blame that's put of nepotism in our industry, I'm still saying right now, yes, some people get their breaks easier. But at the end of the day, unless they prove themselves, they are not going to become the superstars of movies or music.
Right. And these household names that you mentioned, they all come from non-music families.
Yes, they do.
They were the breakout stars.
Yeah.
And I think what Saregama is doing to make that process easier is everything idealistic in the filtration process of making it or breaking out into a hit star. No, it's not. But you guys are making effective steps so that you can channel true talent.
The one part right now is the first part of selection. We are leaving it in a democratic fashion, whereby people are putting the content up. We are not asking. We are giving you the ammunition of a cover, because then at least the song is familiar with the audience. You do your version of it. You do video in whichever fashion you do. We are ready to put everything up right now on social.
Yes.
On channels like YouTube, and let the audience decide. After that, we come in. If we believe somebody is doing very, very well, then we go out there and start shortlisting the artists and start investing. We will be announcing very soon of our next 2 artists that we people have locked.
Okay.
We selected them in a similar fashion. Their versions had come to us. They're young kids, both under the age of 20, and they're being taught every day. Don't expect that your first song is going to become a super hit.
Absolutely not.
A lot of hard work involved.
It's a lot of blood, sweat, tears, trial and error that is involved in making an artist, not just the art itself. So I believe my next question is, we talked about artists in India. There's a lot of breakout artists that are raised as NRIs, whether that is Mickey Singh, AP Dillon, or you see Bohemia, or now even Mitras, who are huge in the music scene.
They're big.
So what opportunities, other than online submissions, do NRI artists have?
See, at the end of the day, I think that onus is on the artist to ensure that the artist becomes more visible. There is no shortcut there. Somebody has to discover you.
Yes.
Listen, in an ideal world, discovery should have been very, very simple. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We are also human with our own limitations. If somebody's sitting in a building away from here who's a great artist, I'll never come to know of it unless somewhere somebody throws that name up and one can go out there and see the performance. I tell lots, social media is very important and people need to start getting into the smaller gigs pretty early in the
Stage
part of the career.
performances.
Stage performances does two things. One, it gives you visibility and people start talking about you, right?
Absolutely.
Second, it takes away the stage fright. It takes away the video camera fright.
Yes.
And in today's world, even a musician has to be a performer.
Absolutely.
Those days of being in the Western world, there is no concept of a background singer.
Right.
At least in India, people did not know how Hemant Kumar used to look. People only knew Dilip Kumar Saab or Devanand Saab there. But here, you have to finally go out there and face
It's
the
an
audience.
audio-visual medium.
In that case, the stage fright has to go. You need to know how to talk to your audience, both through your lyrics and also when you're there on the stage.
Absolutely. I think coming from my experience, I can attest to that too. So the way I infiltrated and networked, I don't know if this is going to help any listeners, is I learned how to do the anthems of all the South Asian countries really well.
Oh, wow.
So whenever I was like 8 or 9 years old, anytime there was a public gathering with any type of diplomats, leaders, celebrities, I was always there to do the American Indian national anthems, Canadian if they needed Bangladesh, whatever. And that got me a stage. That got me an audience to where they're like, oh, you can sing this. Can you open for so-and-so?
Right.
That opens up so many doors. And if that's one piece of like takeaway that I can attest to what you're saying, is to get on stage from a young age and start with those things that everybody knows. Like how people start with covers of Kishorda or Latadi. Everyone knows those songs and you kind of elevate, you use that as a calling card to your next thing. So that's what I did and that got me shows, with Pritam Da or opening for Kumar Sanu or, singing with Shankar Mahadevan and things like that. That opens more doorways for your networking purposes through your work. So I feel like that is a golden rule is to put yourself out there and continuing to work.
You are the real rock star here, okay?
No, I am nothing.
Yeah,
I am just a work in progress and I just love to do what I do.
Initiative and hard work. I don't think you can succeed in life without these two big attributes as part of your personality. Yeah, you can be a genius and may discover something someday, I'm sure. But most of us who are not geniuses, I think the only way to succeed in life is hard work and initiative.
Absolutely. So tell us.
And perseverance.
Perseverance, persistence, and I think the one thing I would add to that is patience. I feel like on social media, everyone wants, oh my God, I don't have 10,000, followers. Oh, maybe I can buy some. Oh, I don't have, this person has 50,000 views. I don't have this many. And you get into that game of just the numbers and they start deviating from the original focus, which is the content.
Yeah.
So it's like those things are important, but they're complementary, not supplementary.
And they are means to the end. They are not the end in itself. What will you do right now with the last social media following if nobody likes the music that you're putting up there?
Exactly. You could have millions of followers, but nothing in your bank account or nothing in your artist bank to put into your next project.
There are some celebrities who go out there and buy out their followers.
Absolutely. So, they buy verifications, they buy numbers, and I'm just like, well, can you buy your next hit?
Yeah. But you still can't buy your next hit. Unfortunately, that's a reality of life.
Exactly.
A good song and a good film is going to find its way. And if it's not a good film or a good song, you can't make it a hit.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell us what's your current favorite song right now?
I'm a person right now who's still stuck in nostalgia.
Oh,
but
that's fine. What's
but
your
I'll
current,
tell you right now,
what are you listening to right now currently?
Right. At this juncture, the only thing I can think of right now is Aaj Rapat Jaye To Hame Na Bhulaiyo with the rain going outside. I sometimes feel, my son always says this right now, you're stuck in time. For me, Kishore Da, Lata Didi, Kishore Da, Asha Tai, Bamranda ka music or Lakshmikant Pyarelal music, that's for me soul food.
Yeah.
I love my new music. I love what all we people are creating on a regular basis. Goldie Sohail did this song recently for us called Aaj Sajya. It's a beautiful song. I've been told it's practically now played at every wedding in US and Canada when the girl is coming out because that's how the song gets played. They're great songs,
right.
But for me, they're not nostalgia. That's the song that it's for the current generation. I love them. Or you put me out there. Even on the Western side, I'll be still stuck on my Bob Marleys of the world rather than go out there and try out anything new.
That's wonderful. All right. Thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful interview, Vikram. And what can fans expect from you next? What should they look forward to other than the online submissions for the talent hunt?
Lots of music, lot of films coming out from our side. We are making films in Punjabi, Malayalam, Hindi, Marathi, as well as web series and live events. So we did Diljit Dosanjh tour in US, Canada, and India recently.
Okay.
We are just premiering Disco Dancer, the musical which we people have produced ourselves. We premiered in London, now it's going to Bombay, and very soon we're going to get it to LA and San Francisco too. On all fronts of entertainment, we are trying to create great content, and we need talent at all times. So anybody who believes they have some kind of a talent and who are ready to put in the hard work, please go back and write to us.
Absolutely. Can you share what website they can go to for the radio listeners?
The best part is just send us an email at content@saregama.com.
Perfect. You heard it here, folks. Rukus Avenue radio listeners. One more time.
Content@saregama.com.
Content@saregama.com. So thank you so much, Vikram, for a wonderful interview. It was a blast to speak with you and share my own experiences, and it felt like a conversation, hopefully, for you as well.
Really enjoyed, and I've never been interviewed right now, but yeah, looking at the road outside, it's been an amazing experience.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, Rukus Avenue radio listeners, this is Priyadarshini G. Roy, your radio correspondent, signing off with Vikram Mehra. Until next time. Rukus Avenue radio listeners, this is your correspondent Priyadarshini with Vikram from Saregama, India. We finished a wonderful interview. How does it feel, Vikram?
Oh, top of the world. It's one of the best interviews I ever had and one of the best studios I've ever been to.
Only on Rukus Avenue Radio. Catch the episode coming live next week on Dash Radio app.
Thank you.
Rukus Avenue Radio.